It can be so annoying when you style your hair how you want it, but then there's this one piece of hair that kind of gets out of place and it kind of just makes your whole hairstyle look a bit off. Hi everyone! Let's talk about some creepy myths and urban legends that we might be able to even debunk. I don't really know what's gotten into me, everyone. I was watching a few creepy storytime videos on YouTube and it kind of got me in the mood and some inspiration to make this video. We might even be able to debunk some of these. Just a disclaimer, everyone, I was trying to avoid the ones that, are so cliche and that everybody has heard of before. I don't know how creepy this video is gonna be, how scary it might be, how, I guess, unsettling and disturbing it might be. We'll just see how everything plays out. However, everyone, I just want to say, if you do come across a part in this video that might be a little too disturbing for you and you want to fast forward to something else, or if you feel like you need to just click off this video, please feel free to do it. Enough of my rambling. Let's go. Let's get started. I'm going to use my phone to help me explain everything, hopefully. Okay, everyone, so the first one is green potato chips aren't really poisonous. Apparently, green potato chips do have this toxic chemical called solanine inside of them, but if you just eat 2 to 3 green potato chips, you're not gonna die. You should be fine. Only if you eat a lot of green potato chips in excess will some stuff start happening, and it might cause you diarrhea, vomiting, headaches, cramps. Just don't eat a lot of green potato chips. If you do happen to find yourself eating 1 or 2 green potato chips, you should be fine. Also, the reason why they're green is because it comes from chlorophyll. If you do eat a lot of green potato chips, the symptoms may last for 1 or 3 days. Some people have died from eating a lot of green potato chips, but it's kind of rare. Basically, the chemicals that are in green potato chips are kind of too low to really put in an effort into somebody's body to make them super harmful, unless of course they eat a lot of those green potato chips. Next one, everyone. No, we're not eating spiders in our sleep. This one was the most scariest for me to try to research. I do not like spiders. I do not like spiders. So the urban legend creepy myth that a lot of people know about is apparently we eat around 8 spiders in our lifetime in our sleep. Apparently at night when you're asleep, if there is a spider in your room, it may crawl down from the ceiling if it's up on the ceiling and come down and literally go into your mouth and you swallowed it and you basically ate the spider. But this is a whole urban legend and creepy myth that was made, and it's apparently misinformation. When I was researching this topic, apparently spiders are more scared of us than we are of them, and they try to avoid us at all costs. They know that we're going to kill them. Also, apparently the warm, moist environment that's within our mouth with our saliva and our breathing isn't an environment that a spider would like. And if a spider did crawl on your face, you would immediately wake up because you would feel them crawling on you. Oh my gosh, everyone. I remember one time when I was a kid and it was at night and I was about to go to sleep, and there was actually a spider in my room and it came down from its web and I saw literally the silhouette of it. And I was so scared, everyone. I literally jumped out of my bed and started screaming for my mom. And my mom, fortunately, actually was able to find it. It was actually in my bed and she had to kill it. And I was so traumatized from that. I don't think I was able to get any sleep that night from that whole experience. But if you're somebody who has always worried about whether or not you're eating spiders in your sleep, you're not. Now, I did hear that spiders apparently have protein in them. Comment down below anybody who feels more about this topic. Do spiders have a lot of protein in them? If spiders do have a lot of protein in them, maybe we do want to eat them. Give us a lot of protein. That's where all our protein would come from. I'm just kidding, everyone. I can't even imagine eating a spider. Next one is you cannot get pregnant from a kiss. This is so totally obvious. I'm sure that there's nobody who actually thinks that you can get pregnant from a kiss. Maybe there is. Most people know that a person can get pregnant only when somebody has penetrative sex, which through biology is between a man and a woman, or if it's in a scientific way like IVF fertilization procedures. So you cannot get pregnant from kissing. You also can't get pregnant from just hugging either. That was just an old tale that everyone's parents told them to prevent you from being intimate with somebody as much as they possibly could. Feel free to comment down below if your parents told you this and you believed them as a kid or as a teenager. The next one is do not starve a fever. So the urban legend is feed a cold, starve a fever. Apparently throughout history, kind of around the 1500s, if my research is serving me correctly, a lot of people believed that colds needed to be warmed with food, while fevers needed to be cooled by depriving the body of energy. So going by the research that I found, the reason why this is not good to do is because when you have a fever, your metabolism speeds up and causes you to burn more calories, and of course that makes you hungry. And so you need a lot of nutrients and fluids and able to help your body fight off the fever. Starving of fever can deprive your immune system of the energy it needs to fight infection. So there you have it, everyone. Whether you have a cold or a fever, it's important that you get a lot of nutrients, meaning eating food, and get as many fluids as you possibly can in order to help your body fight off the infection. Okay, everybody, so the next one is your face isn't going to freeze that way. So I'm sure a lot of people heard this back when they were a kid or a teenager. Let's say you're making a funny, silly, ugly face and your parents or somebody who may have been older than you or the authority of you may have said something like, stop making that face or your face will freeze that way. Your face isn't going to freeze that way, everyone. Apparently that was just some context that parents used, or a saying rather that parents used, in order to make their kids stop from making ugly, silly, funny faces because it was bad manners. But there's not really any physical evidence or scientific evidence that shows that if somebody makes the same face that their face is going to freeze in that particular way. Of course, everyone, if you do happen to hold your face in a certain position for a long time, it may somewhat change a bit of the features of your face, or you may have that feeling of how your face was in that certain position linger within your face. Or it may even become a habit of how you did your face. You may keep doing it and doing it and doing it. For example, if you're somebody who does like this all the time with your face, you may find yourself getting into a habit where you're doing this with your face all the time. And that also goes for if you're somebody who crosses your eyes a lot. Eyes probably 9 times out of 10 isn't going to get stuck if you cross them together, but you may just develop the habit of crossing your eyes a lot, or if your eyes feel like they have gotten stuck together, it might just be just a temporary feeling. It should be temporary, that is. Next one. Do not follow the 5-second, 10-second rule. I'm sure everybody knows about the 5-second, 10-second rule, where if a piece of food that you were eating falls on the ground, if you're able to pick it up within 5 seconds or 10 seconds, it should be still okay to eat. Everyone, once a piece of food hits a floor, especially if that floor is a public place or can be considered dirty, the food is contaminated once it hits the floor. Please do not pick up food off of a floor and eat it, everyone. That piece of food that you were eating got germs on it as soon as it hit the ground. Next one. The laugh tracks that are on TV shows are of dead people. Okay, everyone, so this urban legend myth is kind of true, but it's kind of not. So apparently, according to research, a lot of the laugh tracks that we hear in TV shows were recorded back in the 1950s through the 1970s. And a lot of TV shows throughout history have used those same recordings of laugh tracks that were recorded from TV shows back in the 1950s through the 1970s. So those people who were on those laugh tracks and their laughter got recorded, a lot of those people may have already passed away and are now deceased in today's time, or at least the time of me making this video. However, everyone, if a TV show has what's called a live studio audience, meaning the audience of the TV show that's in question, that's watching the TV show, are right there live in person looking at the TV show play out, then their laughter is live, it's right there, it's happening right then and there, and of course those people aren't dead. So yeah, everyone, those laugh tracks that you hear in TV shows, those folks may actually be technically dead, especially if that TV show is from way back in the past. Next one. Your skin can turn orange from eating too many carrots. So apparently this condition is called carotenemia. It occurs when the excessive beta carotene, the pigment that's in carrots, builds up in the blood and gets stored in the skin, typically causing a yellow-orange color. This yellow-orange color can typically be seen in the palm of somebody's hand or in the sole of somebody's feet. If I was the type of person who liked carrots, I would probably try this out to see if my palms or my feet would turn this color. I'm just weird like that. Comment down below, are you somebody who has eaten a lot of carrots before and had this experience happen to you? I wonder what would happen if somebody just kept eating carrots after you turned the yellow-orange color. Would something freaky happen, like your hands and your feet actually turning carrots? Or maybe you would probably just become an Oompa Loompa. Next one, everyone. If your roommate dies, you will get a 4.0 GPA. No need to study hard with that in mind. Apparently, this urban legend has been around since the 1970s, but of course, everyone, it's not true. The only way to get a 4.0 GPA in college is if you study hard and work to get those A's. Those A's and those good grades. See how that rhymed? However, everyone, this does remind me of the famous urban legend, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?" That's been around since the 1980s, and of course the 1998 movie that's based on the urban legend. I guess the murderer heard about the urban legend and wanted to find out it was true. But then again, the girl's roommate wasn't the murderer's roommate. Was the murderer trying to help the girl? Was the girl the murderer? I don't know, everybody. I've never seen the movie. I've never really looked into the urban legend. Never mind me. Don't pay attention to me. Next one. The Great Wall of China cannot be seen from space. The urban legend is that the Great Wall of China was apparently supposed to be able to be seen from space from the naked eye. But of course, everybody, that's not true. You can't see anything from the naked eye while being up in space. A lot of astronauts have already reported that they were not able to see the Great Wall of China from the naked eye while being in space. Next one. Eating Pop Rocks and soda will not make your stomach explode. Okay, everyone, so a bit of background context if you've never heard of this urban legend before. The well-known cereal company or cereal brand Life Cereal had a commercial that ran from 1972 to 1986 that features actor John Gilchrist when he was around 3 years old, and he was called Little Mikey in the commercial. This commercial for Life Cereal is very popular. It's very well known, especially for anybody who remembers it or was around back in the 1970s who had saw it firsthand. My mom remembers seeing this commercial when she was a kid back in the 1970s. However, how this relates to the urban legend is that Little Mikey, John Gilchrist, one day ate some Pop Rocks and drank some soda behind it, and it apparently killed him. This scared a lot of people, and a lot of people believed that if you are to eat the candy Pop Rocks and drink soda after it, that it will kill you by making your stomach explode. However, everyone, this is an urban legend. A lot of people have already tried this, and no, their stomachs did not explode. No, it did not kill them. In my opinion, it would probably just make you fart a lot. And as for John Gilchrist, according to the research I found, he is working as a director of media sales for MSG Networks, and he lives in Pelham, New York with his wife and 3 children. So yeah, there you go with that. Next one. humans use more than 10% of their brains. So this urban legend and myth, everyone, is that we as human only use apparently only 10% of our brain, but apparently that's not true. Apparently scientists believe that we actually use our entire brains every single day. Even though our brain and our body is recharging, our brain is still active. And to help keep your brain active, doing things like exercising regularly, getting good enough sleep, and doing new skills and learning new things like crossword puzzles, things of that nature, can help your brain stay active in a good functional state. Next one, everyone, is eating glue fatal? So everyone, you may be somebody watching that may be old enough to have this experience. You may have witnessed somebody in your classroom at school, especially at elementary school, where the kid who was always eating glue may have been in your classroom, and of course you saw them eating glue. Apparently glue like Elmer's glue is not toxic, and if somebody happens to consume or swallow a small amount of glue, it shouldn't be fatal. But if somebody does happen to consume an excessive amount of glue, or the glue that they do consume gives them any bad symptoms like vomiting, they can't breathe, things of that nature, call a doctor immediately. Call your emergency room hotline immediately. I also think that on the back of glues, there's a hotline that you can call for medical emergencies. I would also call that as well, because that can be fatal. Next one, and this may be the creepiest one on the list. No, the Mona Lisa's eyes is not following you as you move. So a lot of people have heard about this urban legend called the Mona Lisa effect. Of course, this is about the famous painting, the Mona Lisa, made by famous and well-known painter Leonardo da Vinci. A lot of people have believed throughout history that when you look at the Mona Lisa and you look at her eyes, whichever way you move, apparently her eyes is following you. So for example, if you start moving towards the left, apparently her eyes are following you, looking at you, going to the left. If you start to move towards the right, apparently her eyes is still looking at you and following you, going to the right. Whichever way you go or move, apparently her eyes is watching you and is constantly looking at you, going into the direction that you're moving in. But of course, this is not true, and there have been people that have proved that this is not true. According to my research, everyone, in 2019, some research done by Bielefeld University shows how the Mona Lisa is apparently looking about 15 degrees to the right of anybody who looks at her. She's not looking directly at you. She's looking 15 degrees to the right of you. So if you have ever been scared of the Mona Lisa, thinking that she's always looking at you no matter which way you go, she's actually not. She's looking in the same direction all this time, and she's not paying attention to you. She's not looking at us. She's not paying attention to us. She's not bothered with us. She's the one that's special. She wants you to look at her, not her looking at you, or I, or any of us. Next one, whether or not dinosaurs were real. If you're on team science, then dinosaurs were real. If you're on team religion, then dinosaurs may not be real to you. It kind of depends on which team you're on, everyone. Personally, everybody, I'm Christian, and I've never seen anything within the Bible that explains whether or not dinosaurs existed on Earth. However, there are mentions in the Bible about beasts and creatures that existed on Earth. For example, everyone, the Bible book of Job in chapter 40 and 41 uses the words like behemoth and leviathan. That may have been the Bible's way of explaining dinosaurs that existed during Bible times. If you're somebody of a different faith or religion other than Christianity, feel free to comment if your religious text explains anything about dinosaurs, if it does. And if you're somebody who doesn't believe in religion, are you on team yes, dinosaurs exist, or team no, dinosaurs did not exist? Even though a lot of people who are paleontologists have dug up fossils and have did the science research to explain and their evidence that dinosaurs did exist. Next one. Apparently, you can scare yourself into having physical symptoms of a disease. Let me explain this one. Now, it may not be a disease such as cancer that somebody can scare themselves into getting, but apparently everyone, through having intense anxiety, somebody can scare themselves into experiencing physical symptoms of an illness because of said anxiety. It's called hypochondria, and people who do this are called hypochondriacs. Somebody may feel anxiety symptoms like headaches, deep breathing, dizziness, stomach aches, having your heart beat faster and faster, or racing hard, or muscle tension. People who are hypochondriacs may relate something that might not be actually relating to a disease. For example, somebody might get a headache, but they may think that something's going on with their head, like maybe a nervous system issue or a brain tumor. Everyone, if you're somebody who is experiencing any physical symptoms or even mental or emotional symptoms, and you feel that you might want to go to a doctor to get it checked out just to make sure you're okay, please feel free to do that. It's better to be safe than sorry. But if your doctor and or healthcare provider doesn't really find anything wrong with you, especially if you've received more than one opinion, for example, you've talked and you've received more than one doctor or healthcare provider's opinion about the situation, it might just be you freaking out, everyone. So just relax, do what your doctor says, be an advocate of your own health, and just make sure that you've done everything that you feel like you need to do to have peace of mind, to make sure that nothing's going on. Peace of mind to make sure that you are okay. Next one, everyone. Twins. Okay, I think this actually might be the most scariest on the list. So apparently everyone, urban legends about twins sometimes focuses on the themes of both twins sharing a soul, supernatural connections, or even eerie identical behavior that the twins have with each other. There are a lot of popular myths and urban legends that people have had throughout history about twins. Some of them being twins having telepathy, the trope about the evil twin where one twin is good but the other twin is bad, or is a single entity within two bodies. So one entity that's now been split up and are now in two bodies. Some famous or infamous tales and urban legends about twins is the story about a man named Edward Mordyke. Apparently he was a man during the 19th century who apparently and allegedly had a parasitic twin face on the back of his head. Apparently this parasitic twin face would whisper horrible things to him, and apparently it did that until he took his own life and unalived himself. Another belief about twins is in Yoruba mythology, where people believe that twins are spirit children. In some African cultures, twins are considered to be supernatural, and it's believed in Yoruba tradition that if one twin dies, a wooden doll called an ere or ire ebeji needs to be created to house the twin that's died soul, or the twin that's still alive might be having a lot of bad luck and misfortune throughout their lives, or may even die an early death. That is so freaky to me, everyone. That is so freaky. When I was a kid, I always used to want to have a twin because I'm the youngest child of my parents' kids. All of my brothers and sisters are older. My siblings are older than me. I'm the youngest. But I was always that kid that always wanted a twin because I always thought it would be fun to have somebody who is the same age as me and looks similarly like me to be friends with and, do stuff together with. But after researching for this video, I may be happy that I never got a twin. Feel free to comment down below if you're somebody watching who you are a twin, you have a twin, or even if you're a triplet or a quadruplet or a quintuplet. If you are a twin to somebody, or if you're somebody's twin, or if you're triplets or quadruplets or quintuplets, have you ever experienced any of these things? Feel free to comment down below. Next one, everyone, being reincarnated. Okay, everyone, I'm not gonna do a whole bunch of serious super explaining for this one, because a lot of people know about the folklore and the horror and the urban legends that go around somebody apparently being reincarnated or being the reincarnation of somebody else within history. I'm gonna post some examples right here next to me of the things that I researched about, some examples about people who have been reincarnated or are the reincarnations of somebody else within the past. I just think that reincarnation would be so creepy because, you know, apparently you're somebody from the past, or you've been reincarnated from some entity within the past that apparently you're finishing their unfinished business. I feel like some people may think it's cool to be reincarnated from somebody in the past because you're being able to live as somebody who probably didn't experience all that modern today or the time period that you're in is able to experience, I guess. I know that there are some religions out there. I think religions like Hinduism and Buddhism, I think, as well, that also believes in reincarnation. Comment down below if you're somebody who believes in reincarnation. Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's freaky and creepy? What do you think about it? Next one, everyone. Kids and animals being able to see ghosts. Okay, everyone, so I posted a video around December of the year 2025 where I kind of go in a deeper detail about how pets or animals may be able to see ghosts, but apparently both kids and animals, as in your pets, are able to see ghosts. That's the urban legend. Now, apparently there hasn't been really any scientific evidence that is able to explain if animals and pets can see ghosts, but of course animals have a lot of hypersensitive senses within their bodies that humans don't really have, like being able to smell far away or being able to hear stuff far away. That allows them to be more in tune with the environment more than a human can. They can also hear distant sounds and, you know, are able to sense vibrations that a lot of people kind of credited to maybe they can hear the supernatural or the paranormal. As far as kids, since kids really haven't developed the mental awareness that you get once you become an adult age, a lot of people believe that makes kids more vulnerable and susceptible to being able to see ghosts and spirits, apparently. So for example, when a child says that they have an imaginary friend, or when a child paints a picture or makes a drawing of an entity or a person that you as an adult may not be able to see or is seeing, that may be their vivid imagination, but a lot of people do credit it as maybe they're able to see something or someone that a human adult can't see because they have the ability to be able to process ghosts. A lot of people also do credit it kids and pets being able to see ghosts as they're just seeing something that's just not there, or they're just looking out into space. But if you are somebody who believes that kids and pets can see ghosts, feel free to comment below. Kids are quote unquote seen as being pure of heart, so that gives ghosts and paranormal supernatural beings the more openness and vulnerability and more susceptible, oh my gosh, this word, to interact with a kid or even a pet. Next one. If a guy is mean to a girl, that means he likes her. Now everyone, I've never came across vice versa to this urban legend. For example, if a woman or a girl is mean to a guy or a boy, that means she likes him. Comment down below if you've ever heard about that. But of course, as everybody knows, and as I've heard of, the urban legend is that if a man or a boy is mean, particularly and usually towards a woman or a girl, that means that he likes her. Now, throughout history, and probably through your personal experience, everyone, to anyone's watching, you may have had that experience where a guy or a boy was mean to you and comes to find out that he actually liked you. But this is not all the time true, everyone. Just because a guy is mean to a person, that doesn't mean that he likes that person. He may just be being outright, flat out mean to that person. I feel like we as a society of people should stop telling people, especially little girls, that if a boy is being mean to them, that he likes them, because that might not be true. That boy might just be being flat out mean to that girl or that person, and it may lead down the road to some trouble that nobody wants. If you like somebody, why are you being mean to them? I know people may say it's probably to get their attention, but I feel personally that if somebody likes me, they want to be, nice and caring and gentle to me, not, being mean to me, because that would just be a turn off to me. And I feel like having this ideology that thinking that somebody who's being mean to you likes you may cause that person to think that for sure, and not being able to pick up on the social cues and, the warning signs, red flags that that person who's being mean to them is putting out, that might be signaling upcoming danger to that person. Never take bullying and somebody's violence against you or towards you, everyone, so lightly. If somebody is being mean to you, if someone's bullying you, if somebody is doing acts of violence toward you, tell them to stop it and nip it in the bud right then and there. And if they don't stop, please do not hesitate to get somebody who has authority, whether that's a parent, a guardian, police, somebody who has authority to make them stop. Saying no or stop, or getting somebody of authority to make that person that's targeting violence towards you to stop if they don't stop when you say it, can sometimes be the deciding factor, everyone, on ultimately saving your life. Next one. Music is mind control, and a lot of concerts and festivals having cult-like things happening. Okay, everyone, so a lot of people have probably heard about this before, where a lot of people believe throughout history that music is a form of mind control, and a lot of concerts and festivals kind of have cult-like things and rituals going on within it. A lot of people believe that a lot of songs and singers and bands may put in messages, backwards messages within their songs that might be encouraging evil, demonic behavior. There are some instances where people have believed that some music and songs have messages or frequencies within them that might be brainwashing people. There are a lot of modern conspiracies that a lot of singers and musical artists may be tied in with the Illuminati. There are some people who believe that concerts and festivals are cult-like because it generates a lot of people within the masses to come to said concert or said festival. And some people believe that energy harvesting may be happening at concerts and festivals. Some people may believe that it kind of resembles worship, where people from all walks of life, or just people within the masses coming together to celebrate that one person or that one singer or one artist or one band on stage. Kind of like how in a worship section a lot of people are coming together to worship one entity. And of course, everyone, we as people have always suspected that music has the power to change our emotions and our feelings and our moods. One minute you may be happy, but you listen to a sad song and now you're sad. One minute you may be angry, but you listen to a calming song and now you're calm. A few days before making this video, I've actually was watching some YouTube videos where I was looking at concerts of different artists, different singers, different bands, and I saw a lot of people just coming together, just in big wads, groups of people together to just look at this one person or one band or one group of people sing. And some instances you may have had this experience personally. Maybe somebody that may have had this experience personally or saw it. But sometimes at concerts and festivals, you may see somebody start crying. You may be seeing somebody really get into the hype of the concert and just screaming and shouting and chanting that person or people on stage's name. There have been instances where people have passed out, literally fainted after seeing that person or people or group on stage because they were so excited to see them. Comment down below, anybody and everybody, if you've had or have seen this experience of somebody else, or if you had this experience yourself. Comment down below if you do feel like music and concerts and festivals are kind of like a cult-like experience, kind of give off cult-like vibes, or kind of give off mind control type vibes. Feel free to comment anything that you want to say about this. I personally love listening to music, but I don't think I get a, cult-like or mind control-like feeling from it. I just listen to what I listen to. I like what I like, and then once I'm finished listening to the song, I just kind of go about my day. Or you may be somebody like me where if you're feeling some type of way, you may listen to a song that kind of helps get out that emotion that you're already feeling, or kind of help you express or think about that emotion that you're already feeling a bit more. Last one, everyone. And this one is, if you're mean to the opposite gender, you will have the opposite gender as a child. Okay, everybody, let me explain this a little bit better. So there is somewhat of an urban legend that I feel like some people may have heard of, where if a man is mean to women, is always abusing women, he will have daughters rather than sons, or will have mostly daughters more than sons. There's also an urban legend that I think some people may have heard of, where if a woman is very aggressive during her pregnancy, she might be having a son or a boy. I do not think that either one of these are true, everyone. Whatever the gender of your child is because of the scientific chromosomes that got developed within their body that happen to make whatever gender that they are. And of course, whatever gender that you have is the gender that God allowed you to have if you're somebody who believes in God. If you are somebody who believes that either one of these urban legends are true, feel free to comment below. Okay, everyone, so it's a couple of days after me filming the first footage for this video, but I have one other myth urban legend to share, and that is brushing your hair all the time is not going to make your hair fall out from the roots. Now, to kind of explain this a bit further, brushing your hair like regularly, or kind of brushing it pretty gently, isn't going to cause you any hair damage or hair loss or anything of that nature. However, any excessive, aggressive, or incorrect hair brushing may cause some of your hair to snap out and cause breakage. So I know that an urban legend myth regarding hair is the 50 to 100 strands a day rule, where a lot of people believed that you needed to brush or comb your hair 50 to 100 times every day or each day. But that is not the case, everyone. You do not need to do that. Please just brush and comb your hair at a regular rate, how much that is for you personally. But please remember that overdoing your hair in terms of brushing it or combing it all the time, overdoing it or doing it very excessively or aggressively, can cause hair damage, where your hair can start breaking off, or you may start to get split ends. Okay, everyone, those are the creepy myths and urban legends that I have for this video. Comment down below anything that you want to say about this video. Do you think that some of these are true? Do you think that some of these aren't true? Do you have or have witnessed any experiences or experience of your own with any of these urban legends or myths that I explained in this video? Feel free to comment anything that you would like to share. I hope this video was not too creepy, everyone. I hope you did not get too scared or too unsettled or too disturbed by this video. I also wasn't trying to disrespect anyone in any sort of way, shape, or form with this video at all. I hope you did enjoy this video. I hope that peace, blessings, and gifts from God remains in your life, and I hope that positivity remains in your life.